Welcome. I am Fuzzyface and welcome to another edition of this Motorsport Manager save that we're currently doing with McLaren. Last time out, Fernando Alonso crashed on the first lap. Hopefully that is not going to happen this time around in the Chinese Grand Prix. Stoffel Vandoorne had a stellar race. He was up into 7th, I want to say, maybe even 6th at one point. But because we changed strategy partway through the race, we came in a little bit early, tried to put on the soft tyres, we tried to respond to the harsh strategy. It didn't quite work out for us with a half a lap to go. The tyres ran out and we actually ended up dropping down the order. Stoffel Vandoorne actually finishing 14th. Obviously the result of that race, finishing 14th and 20th, I think that put us 10th. I think Mercedes finished 9th if we go to have a look at the standings. No, Mercedes were actually worse off than us, so we actually finished 9th. Overall, obviously Zach Brown wasn't very happy with that. We are now job security uneasy, so it is imperative that we try and get some sort of result out of this. We can't finish much lower down than 6th. I know at the beginning of the season we said we would finish 5th or higher. I don't think that is even going to be possible because the Force India cars with Perez and Ocon look a lot stronger than we do. But anyway, that's where we're at that way. The car, we're still waiting for the other engine to be built. We've improved this engine enough that it can now actually go in the car. So let's go ahead and put this one in Fernando's car. And we'll give this slightly worse one to Stoffel Vandoorne. He will be happy with that. We are still waiting on Paddy Lowe to accept our contract offer. He hasn't done that. Hopefully that can go through and we can get Paddy Lowe here back at McLaren for once after, it would be a 4-year break, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think he left in 2013 to join Mercedes. Obviously he enjoyed a great period of dominance with Mercedes. Hopefully he can sort of bring some of that back to McLaren, and he would actually fill in this epic slot here, so we would be able to build an extra engine part this season after the test track is built. He has an epic thing here that adds a random legendary part to the slot, so hopefully we can make a nice big leap forward with the engine, and we're sort of competitive then for next season. So hopefully that move goes through, but other than that, that's about it. We're still about 661,000. We're going to accept the sponsorship offer that adds 200,000 into the race, so if we're hoping to get 861,000, hopefully we can achieve that. If Fernando Alonso doesn't have another mishap at the start of this race, we're going to load up on soft tyres. Super soft tyres go for 942. Like so. And yes, that's where we're going to leave off. So I'm going to run practice. We'll come back for the sim of qualifying and then we'll get on with the race. So that's practice over and done with. Fernando Alonso keeping pace, sort of. Well, not really keeping pace, is he? We're about 3 tenths behind the Toro Rossos, who also did a stint on the super softs. Everyone else seemingly going for the mediums and soft. I don't know if a lot of these lower down cars are going to try do one stop and go for the mediums on this track. I have shortened the race lengths just so I can keep up with the updates for this video. Medium lengths don't work for me whilst recording and editing, so it is going to be a shortened race length other than those that we had been, what I had done last time. Anyway, we're going with super soft and qualifying. Both of these cars obviously for qualifying. That's what we need. We got there near enough with Vandoorne. Not as great with Alonso, but it's good enough. We're not going to change anything. We're just going to jump straight in to sim this session. Obviously we're expecting Vandoorne to be 20th once again. Hopefully Alonso can be around 11th. Hopefully he's not going to be too far off the pace. But there we go. We see Alonso 12th. Not actually that far behind the Toro Rosso of Kvyat. We are actually quicker than Saints. We're still quicker than the Renaults. Got Sauber just being dropped down to 13th there. The Force India is still a long way in front of us. The top car of Perez 7 tenths in front of Alonso, so that is what we've got to look out for. Alonso makes it into Q2. He's not going to get any further than that. Hopefully he can improve on 13th here. Stoffel Vandoorne eliminated Palmer, Magnussen, Ericsson and Grosjean all out. So let's sim Q2. Alonso's out for his lap at the moment. And 12th at the moment. Hopefully we can stay in front of the Toro Rosso of Saints. Or Sainz. I always say it wrong. Hamilton, Bottas, 1 and 2. Vettel, Ricciardo, the Red Bull splitting the prancing horses at the moment, and then we got the Williams and the Force Indias there. So Alonso actually did manage to climb up into 11th. Look at that, just under 100th of a second away from Ocon. Absolutely brilliant there from Alonso to get that close. So maybe we're going to be in for points if Alonso can keep his car on the track this time round. So Alonso eliminated along with Kvyat, Sainz, Hulkenberg and Wehrlein all out. So hopefully we can get something done during the race with Alonso, but we're just going to watch this last session. We're going to be seeing a repeat, I think, of the Mercedes on pole. I don't know if the Mercedes are going to have an absolutely nightmare race. Bottas actually on pole this time is, what's that, about 2/100ths of a second in front. Bottas going even quicker, and Hamilton nicks pole right there at the end, very close. Then we got Vettel. The Red Bull still splitting Raikkonen, and then we got the Williams following up, and they're followed closely behind by the, well, not even closely, there's a massive gap there between the Force Indias and the Williams, isn't there? So quite a bit of a performance upgrade from there. So we're aiming to get to the Force Indias, and then we've got after that we've got another massive step up before we actually reach the Williams cars. So hopefully we can get something out of this race here. Yeah, let's just see. Let's just see what we're going for strategy wise. We've got 23 laps. I think a lot of the computer cars, they're going to struggle though if they go for 2 mediums. I think everyone's going to be doing 2 stops. I think what we're going to do is split our strategies. We're going to go with a soft. We're going to try to go 9, 20, and then we're going to have a really hot session on the super softs to finish the race. Maybe we can get through that way. Yeah, maybe, should we? I don't know whether it's going to be doable on the 2 mediums. No, we'll take a risk with Fernando. We've got to try and get something out of this, haven't we? I'm not sure what... We'll start with a medium with Vandoorne, and then we can see what happens from there. The weather is quite cold, so we're going to have to really push these tyres to get heat into them. So it's going to be pretty touch and go to get the mediums to 11 laps as well. So yeah, we're going to have to risk it as that, aren't we? It means with Fernando we can really push the tyres a little bit, especially in this cold weather. So yeah, that's what we'll go with. We'll try. We're going to aim for a 1-stop with Vandoorne, and since he's going to be on the mediums for quite a long time, no, we went with the softs, didn't we? I went with the softs because I thought we were going to do a 2-stop. Just in case we go for that as well. Should we give the boost for the end of the race? No, we'll go softs again because we're going to spend a little bit of time on the softs more than we're not going to be on the super softs too long, so that's what we're going to go with. So let's jump right into this race then. Hamilton, Bottas, they've got 1 tyre, so that might play into our hands here with the Force Indias. They're going to have to stop pretty early, and then everyone behind us. And we've got a couple of cars on softs, so these are going to be doing 2 stops, it looks like. So a lot of these other cars, it just depends whether these are around us. Palmer electing to start on the super softs. So yeah, a lot of these are going to be doing 2 stops then, so yeah, so that sort of works into our favour. I was worrying then that a lot of these cars were going to try and get to 1 stop. Vandoorne slow there. Alonso losing places, it looks like. He's alongside Kvyat at the moment. He holds it, but who's that? Carlos Sainz Jr. jumping down the inside. Raikkonen dropped all the way to 10th, and we're battling away. Jolie and Palmer getting around the outside of Fernando there. So Fernando loses a place at the start, and he's battling Kvyat here. Holds onto it, and we've got a Renault, and is that a Sauber? A Wehrlein. Ocon diving. Ocon's made a bad start. Fernando makes a move. He's got the inside line, but there we go. We've got Ocon and Alonso holding. Can we get past? Oh my word! It's all bunching up here. We've got Wehrlein fighting back. Alonso pushes across. He's up the inside of Ocon. Ocon tries to close the door on him, but Alonso regains all the way back into 12th. And Vandoorne, meanwhile, has made a pretty good start. He's managed to get past Kvyat, Ericsson and Grosjean. But Alonso, 12th at the moment, trying to dive up the inside of Palmer here. Gets the line. Beautiful overtake there from Alonso. We've now got Daniel Ricciardo, who's dropped all the way from the back, having won that last race. And Alonso shoots up the inside of Ricciardo, up into 10th. He's now got a Ferrari in his sights. Could we possibly overtake a Ferrari here? Raikkonen getting slowed down a little bit by Massa, it seems, and Vandoorne meanwhile has got up all the way into 13th. He's just done a double move over the two Renaults. I'm guessing they've all turned down their engines, which is what we're going to have to start thinking about doing here. We don't want to waste too much fuel. We're trying to get enough heat into these tyres, although... And we've got Raikkonen out. Raikkonen has crashed here. Raikkonen out of the race on lap 2. So we're just going to have to take it a little bit easy. We want to get some heat into these tyres, but obviously we can keep pushing with them. Alonso, meanwhile, is up into 9th now as Raikkonen crashed. He's going to have a hard time fighting off Ricciardo. We're going to hold on to this boost a little bit. Vandoorne, meanwhile, is now up into 12th. He's got a nice little bit of a gap. We're not going to waste his boot. It's going to be pretty hard for us to get close to Ocon. They obviously do have a better Ferrari-powered engine than our failing Honda engine. So let's have a look. Are we actually falling behind here, or are we actually gaining on Felipe Massa? We're still pushing the tyres a little bit. We're trying to get them right up to temperature. We're going to see a lot of these front runners start to pit soon. So maybe we can just keep pushing these tyres until they think about doing that. We don't want them to get too hot. These mediums are going to be really hard to keep the temperature up to scratch. It's 13 degrees at the moment. It's going to drop to 12 or 11 soon, so it's going to be even harder soon to keep temperature in these tyres. And we're going to turn down here a little bit. We might even starting to think about recovering some fuel once a lot of these cars start hitting the pits. I'm going to try to keep up with them for now, but for now it seems like we're doing pretty well. 9th and 12th, and there we see Ocon's about to hit the pits. I'm guessing a lot of the cars in front are going to be doing that, although we don't see Massa coming in. Saints won't be stopping for a little while yet. He's seemingly on about the same strategy as us, though we're still trying to fight off Ricciardo here. I guess it's because we got... Yeah, because we might be able to do 2 softs with Fernando. Maybe we can get another 3. Takes us to 7, 16. Oh, it'd be pretty close, wouldn't it? No, we might still do the middle stint of medium, and then we can have a nice fresh pair of super softs. Just depends how much life we can get out of this tyre. If we turn it down just about now, try and hold on to these tyres a little bit longer. But there's not much difference there. We've been going about the same with these tyres, but 57% to 50%, so there's not much life difference between these two tyres. There's about 4 seconds between them. There doesn't seem to be much of a speed difference, but if we had someone... Yeah, we've got a couple of these front runners now pitting, which puts Alonso up into 8th place. Ricciardo managed to get past Alonso down that straight, didn't he? Actually, I don't think we actually saw that on camera there. Alonso doing brilliant. Vandoorne just behind him in 9th. It's about 4 seconds splitting those two cars. We've seen one of the Renaults about to come in already, Palmer, who started out on the super soft. So it's going to be interesting to see what he goes for. I'm guessing he's going to go for a medium. What did a lot of these go for? The Williams have gone for mediums. Everyone's coming for the medium tyres. So yeah, we're going to do our middle stint on medium. You're going to do the middle stint with Vandoorne on the softs. And there we go. Alonso makes another move on Ricciardo. Managed to hold on to it around the outside. We'll have the inside line on this corner, but he's losing out here. So we're going to actually push just to hold that place from Ricciardo. Vandoorne, maybe we can try catch up a little bit down this straight. That'll do. We've not used much of the power boost at the moment. We're just going to try and hold on to it until the end of the race, just in case we need it. And there we see Ricciardo about to come in. Alonso and Vandoorne now up into 2nd and 4th as a lot of these other cars start to make their pit stops. We've got another couple of laps that we can do here with Fernando. We're going to have to start thinking about recovering some fuel at some point. Maybe we'll start doing that now as these other cars are in the pits. I think we still gather about 0.09 per lap, do we? Running in medium and up to nearly 0.2 on the lows, so just keep an eye on the fuel. And so we're going to see Ricciardo dive into the pits here, so we're going to lose that sort of battle that possibly has been slowing us down a little bit, but we're not doing too badly. It seems now we're not actually doing too badly. I'm pretty happy with how this is going. We're going to try and keep Vandoorne going as long as he can. Maybe we can still try a one stopper with him, although these tyres are getting pretty cool. We want to. Both sets of tyres are getting pretty cool, so maybe we're going to have to start thinking about it this lap. Should we just go for it this lap, push round to the pits and get Alonso in for his set of mediums, try and undercut some of these other cars? Maybe if we the medium tyres should be a little bit quicker than what this soft tyre is now, so maybe we can try and undercut even though we're going on to the mediums. We'll try it. We'll risk it. Although we're possibly going to get held up, but a lot of the other cars are quicker than us, so it shouldn't matter if we get held up or not. These tyres of Vandoorne's are slowly starting to fade away. We might even need to go for another set of mediums with Vandoorne. You can possibly do another 2 laps to 9. No, it would be safe enough to go with the softs, wouldn't it? Oh, it's cutting it pretty close. 9. Still debating whether to go for another pair of soft tyres with Alonso. Because we do lose a lot of life at the beginning of the race when we have to push the tyres to get them up to temperatures. We are going to be coming out of the pits with the tyres at optimum temperature. We could risk it, and then if things don't go to plan, we could always go onto the medium tyre for the end of the race, couldn't we? Since we do have this boost for the soft tyres. We could even just go soft, 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 couldn't we? If things don't go to plan with this second set of soft tyres. This Vandoorne now has got Perez behind him, who has pitted already, so that puts Perez in. So what happened to Hamilton again? Hamilton, the Mercedes cars still having problems with their car like they did in the Ferrari saves. It's so far behind here. Where is Bottas as well? Can't even see Bottas. Where is he? They're 13th. So Perez is in an effectual lead of this race at the moment, with Verstappen in second. Crazy. It's throwing up all sorts of different scenarios in this game at the moment. So we're going to see Alonso. I can't remember if I actually changed to the softs. I did. Everything looking tip top there, and look at that, 90% for the engine. Honda reliability out of the window. Not out of the window in this game, should I say. So we're going to try this little undercut on Carlos here. We're going to push out here. Looks like we've had a decent enough pit stop. We're back out into 14th. That's not too bad. And we've got a lot of cars still to pit. Vandoorne, meanwhile, he's going to try to stay out as long as he can here. As long as he can. I'm just going to keep an eye on Sainz. Is he coming in this lap? What is the gap now? 20 seconds. So it looks like it could work here. As Alonso moves himself up into 12th, managed to get past Roman. 11th is Lance Stroll, so we are a lot quicker than these. We've got a nice fresh pair of soft tyres on. And we're seeing Verline come in. Is Sainz queued up yet? No, Sainz is not, so that's going to play into our hands as Alonso's catching him up here. So we've got the undercut working on Carlos here. We're going to be able to get past him, it looks like. Vandoorne, meanwhile, what can we do? The drop-off is about 5%. If we can get into about lap 11, and we've got a safety car, we've got a free pit stop here, that is going to give... Has he managed to get into there? He did manage to get into the pits. That has messed up the undercut there, hasn't it? So what we had gained... You! Right, so we get a free pit stop here for Vandoorne, sort of. So let's get him into the pits. It does mean that we're going to be able to go long enough on this soft tyre, doesn't it, anyway? We'll recover that. We don't need to recover. We don't need to recover the tyres. No, we don't, because we've just been in Fernando. You don't need to pit again. So what's everything going to be like? Maybe Carlos has managed to get in and out of the pits again. 7th, and Vandoorne stays ahead of Alonso, so that worked out really well for Vandoorne through the pit stops there. So that is not bad. So we are in actual effect in 6th and 7th here. That is not bad at all. Not a bad place to be at. So we're going to follow the safety car now, as usual. If you watch the other games, we'll just play it through, and we'll come back and rejoin when the safety car is about to go into the pits. Right, so the safety car is about to go into this lap. We can see there it was Valtteri Bottas that crashed, so Mercedes having an absolute nightmare again. We're up in 6th and 7th. We're going to try to get some heat back into these tyres just before the restart. We're going to stay in low mode. We've got nearly full battery here, so we might actually use it on the restart. I'm just going to have to watch out. There goes the safety car into the pits. Wait for the yellow flag to go. We'll push with Alonso. Maybe push with Vandoorne as well. And everyone's pushing from the off. Maybe we'll hold back now. Try and hold back. And Vandoorne does well there. It's fighting with our own teammate. Maybe we should just allow him to let... there's a gap between the two cars now. Maybe we should order... Should we let him race? If Alonso's good enough, he should be. Oh, he's still got the engine in low mode. What am I doing? So 7th and 9th now. We've lost places to the Williams and Red Bull, which is expected, but we gain it back there. Alonso makes a move back around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. He's going to go up and round Verstappen. Down the straight, let's go into power mode. Let's try and hold that onto that lead down there. So we've now got Vandoorne 6th, Alonso 7th. Don't think we've got much chance of keeping up with the cars in front. We're still trying desperately to get some heat back into these tyres. We can run in overtake mode because we're possibly going to go for another set of softs at the end. Just depends here to see how far these tyres can go. Vandoorne up into 5th. He made a move on Stroll there. I wasn't actually paying attention to what he did, but he actually managed to get past pretty quickly. Alonso now has meanwhile dropped a place to Daniel Ricciardo. We shouldn't have much hope of competing with these, and if someone else crashed, everyone keeps crashing in this same corner. It's Pascal Wehrlein this time in the Sauber has gone out, but no safety car this time. No safety car. And look at that. Vandoorne making a move around the outside of Sebastian Vettel. Maybe we should use some of our boost here. Give him that little boost. And there he goes. We'll keep hold of these boosts. Maybe use a little bit of Fernando's to try and catch him up with Daniel Ricciardo. But Vandoorne having an absolute stormer here, up into 4th place. Lance Stroll, meanwhile, Vettel struggling there, but managed to keep the inside line. And Alonso makes a move on Ricciardo. Can he keep on to that? Can he keep it going? No, he'd lose his speed coming out of that corner. Ends up falling behind a little bit. Meanwhile, Vandoorne, it's Carlos in front of him. Could we make a move on Carlos? We do have better tyres than all of these in front. And there's only a 5-second gap. Are we actually gaining to Carlos here? We are actually gaining. Let's use a little bit of this boost down the straight, just to stay ahead of Vettel there, who's trying to fight back. Meanwhile, Alonso's might get the move on Ricciardo here as he's being held up by Stroll, but meanwhile that all holds the pack together. Verstappen's trying to make a move. We'll go boost and come out in front of both of those cars, and now almost, and he gets past Stroll as well. Absolute brilliant move there from Alonso. Had both Red Bulls either side of him, managed to speed up and get past both Red Bulls and make the move on Stroll as well. Meanwhile, Vandoorne holding on to 4th place. We're still falling behind Carlos Sainz here. Maybe we'll push up the straight, and into there. Alonso meanwhile 6th, has got a nice little gap back there. Looks like Sainz is going to try and go to the end of the race. There's not many others that could possibly make it. It's going to be pretty touch and go though. Maybe Verstappen could be able to do it. Some of these down here, Ericsson, Kvyat could possibly get there as well. It's going to be pretty close, isn't it, with all of those cars. Meanwhile, we're still pushing here, trying to get these tyres up to temperature. We're just going to have to see what happens when we filter back out after all these pit stops. Maybe we can run in high mode, try and make these last another lap for Alonso and another 2 for Vandoorne. We should be able to get around this. And we've got Kevin Magnussen crashed. Another crash. That's 4 cars out this time. But no safety car. These soft tyres, we're going to change these just in case. And it does... Oh, could we make it round? Could we go back up and try and get another lap out of the... I think the drop-off is 15% for the softs. It's not 20% like the super softs are. So maybe we can get another lap out of these tyres. We want to try and get a little bit more than that out of the tyres for Vandoorne. So hopefully this isn't going to be too much of a risk and we can get the super softs on to finish the race. It's a little bit of a risk because we want to get onto these. But we are going to have to look after the super softs from doing that. We aren't going to be able to do that with Vandoorne. He's got about another lap definitely left in these tyres if we go conserve mode as well. Alonso is hitting the pits. A lot of them. Vettel's coming in this lap. Possibly going to work out for them a little bit better than for Vandoorne. We'll see what happens here. Everyone's pretty much in the same boat. The tyres are totally warm for Vettel. Vandoorne's got another lap here, so in comes Alonso, but we're going to get Vandoorne in for the next one onto the super softs. Nothing else to change. There's no fuel to put in. Please be a good stop. And mistake for Alonso. quite a bad mistake. Maybe we're going to have to think about the race mechanics as well. So that puts us 15th. A lot of these should be stopping again, hopefully, but they might not. They might not be stopping, but we are on a pair of super softs now, so we are still on the quicker tyre. And we do have to look after these tyres now. Where are we going to be able to get Vandoorne out? Maybe we took him a lap too long. Maybe the undercut's going to work for a lot of these other cars. Hopefully there's going to be no mistake here. That's a good pit stop for Vandoorne. He's back out into 11th, so maybe we're in for a points finish here. We're behind Daniel Ricciardo, so the Red Bull's managed to make a move there. Just depends whether all these cars in the mediums for Perez should be stopping. Does look like he could be stopping 19, so yeah, it could be. Carlos might be able to make it to the end for Verstappen, so there is a few places that we could pick back up here. As long as we get a nice points finish here, that would be ideal. You have to watch the fuel of Fernando. We're going to have to try to recover some before the end of the race, but Vandoorne in 11th at the moment. We are actually gaining on Hulkenberg, who is on a pair of worn medium tyres. So it looks like Vandoorne's going to get a points finish here. It looks like, yeah, there we go. We get past Hulkenberg pretty easily. We've got Daniel Ricciardo in front, who's on a pair of... And Ricciardo's crashed. Ricciardo is out of the race, but there's not even a yellow flag. It just went into the wall and disappeared. Did Daniel Ricciardo? Maybe we can't have the safety car out at this point in the race. So 5 crashes during this race. Thankfully, none of them have been Alonso. And there goes Alonso now up into 14th place. His tyres getting really cold. What is the temperature at the moment in China? 13 degrees. Is going to drop again. That is 9th now for Vandoorne. Are we getting a couple of cars into the pits? We are, so... And there we go, up into 6th now. Doesn't look like Carlos is going to pit. So we only relatively lost 1 place during those pit stops. We do have a chance of getting past Stroll, so maybe we're going to think about using some of this boost now. Try and get a little bit closer to Lance Stroll. See if we can get Alonso a bit closer to these cars in front. Don't want to use too much of it. We want to get close enough that we can actually just use the boost down the straight. We want to get close enough to Lance Stroll that we can get past him. We still need to watch these tyres. I think we've got enough to get to the end of the race. Just try and get pretty close. And Williams is really strong. Even with the boost, we can't seemingly catch him. Which, as you know, if you've watched like the Bahrain Grand Prix, the Mercedes, even with DRS open, couldn't get the power difference was so much that they couldn't even get close, even with DRS open. We're battling with a Haas in front here, so Alonso should be able to get this one. We get close enough and use a boost. Don't want to waste it though. We keep sort of getting held up. I get the boost out of the corner. No. Pretty hard for Alonso here, and we're going to have to recover this fuel as well. Don't have to worry about the tyres too much. Vandoorne, meanwhile, is up into 5th. Carlos did pit. So we've got 1 car in the points. I really want to get Alonso here. It doesn't look like that's going to be possible. Roman doing a really good job of defending. Could we use it down the straight? Come on, Alonso. No, we've got... Oh, someone else pitted then. Julian Palmer pitted, so we've got both cars up into the points now. This will be brilliant. We've got Perez leading the race. Obviously, we're not going to beat Force India this time round. But hopefully, this is going to keep us in this McLaren job a little bit longer. So this is a little bit more like it, as the top order has been thrown into chaos with the Bottas crash, the Hamilton mistake in the pits. Whatever happened to him is looking like he's getting close to wearing out another set of tyres. So Mercedes having an absolute nightmare. But we've now got Verstappen on a nice, fresher set of super soft tyres even. But we do have our boost with Vandoorne to try to keep him there. We've got to watch these tyres now. With Alonso, we've got Ericsson breathing down our neck. As we... Are we on the final lap of the race? We are, aren't we? We're on the final lap here. So we should just be able to hold off here. I don't think we've got much to worry about with Vandoorne. We can sort of keep Verstappen at bay by using the boost every so often. We just need to keep Ericsson at bay here and hope these tyres don't go. Maybe we're going to have to put them into backup mode. We're getting pretty close to the wall here, aren't we? Vandoorne, meanwhile, a couple of corners left to go. We've got a nice little bit of a gap. Might as well use all of that to solidify that gap over Verstappen. A nice 5th place finish. Looks like Alonso could have hit the wall here. We do have some boost left to try and keep in front. We can actually turn up the engine as well. We're about to hit the wall on this last corner. We're going under the 20. But there we go. 5th and 10th. Absolutely brilliant there from both drivers. Stoffel Vandoorne having an absolute storm of a performance there. Perez, meanwhile, in the Force India doing excellent. We've got Williams. 2 Williams in the top 4. It's throwing some crazy orders up at the moment since a lot of these top cars are really struggling with their reliability. Only Vettel's sort of managing to keep up. Daniel Ricciardo was a little bit further down here because he actually crashed. So that should put Vettel in the lead of the championship at the moment. Bottas crashed. Raikkonen crashed on the first lap actually. I thought it was the second lap, but first lap crash. What we like for time is we managed to do a 123.6, so we're a lot slower than the cars at the top. Lewis Hamilton, meanwhile, did a 121.9, but still managed to finish 13th. So Mercedes still yet to gain a point this season. I don't know where we actually finished up overall in that race, but pretty decent race. So that puts Vandoorne 8th overall in the championship standings. Alonso breaks his duck and gets a point. Puts us up into 6th place, so that is absolutely brilliant now. So hopefully that keeps us above Sauber and Haas and Renault. We've got Toro Rosso to try catch, so maybe Toro Rosso is a team that we're going to try compete with this season. We don't really have much chance of catching up to Force India. We know Mercedes are going to recover at some point. We hope they're going to recover at some point, but they're already 49 points off the title. If we saw that, Williams actually leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Red Bull and Ferrari just behind them. So Mercedes really need to get their act together and recover here. But anyway, that is where we're going to leave this episode today. We're still waiting on Paddy Lowe, so hopefully we can get that confirmed for the next episode. And we're going to move on with the next engine builds next episode. Maybe I think we've got another sponsor coming up on the next episode. I'm thinking everyone's going to be a little bit happier. Alonso's still unhappy with finishing 10th. Seems pretty strange, and we came 4th overall, so only an 8% difference there, so it's not done much. Another bad result, and we're probably in the danger zone still. But not bad overall. So yeah, absolutely brilliant episode there for us. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You do know you want to hit that like button as well. Leave a comment if you've got any thoughts on this series or anything you would like to see me do. But until next time, I'll see you down the road for the next Grand Prix, and goodbye.